I saw you standing there the first time that I laid my eyes on you. I couldn't get you out of all the thoughts I had. And now the end is near, and I just couldn't seem to get it right. I guess it's time to go. Yeah.
Back for another episode of the Coast Boys Podcast. My name is Izzy.
I'm Gabe.
And today we're joined by Trevan Estrellado. Trevan, how are you, man?
How you doing, guys? Izzy, good seeing you again. Gabe, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
Trev, we were just talking about this, man. It's been a while since we last spoke.
Very long time. Very long time.
Dude, I freaking, I miss you, man. I miss you. Where are you at right now?
Back home in Washington State. California got very expensive. I was paying like $1,100 for a studio.
In San Bern?
In San Bern.
Dude, I was just telling Gabe that like $900 to share a room, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's pricey over there.
Which is crazy because it's... Can I cuss? I can cuss,
Yeah,
right?
you can do whatever you want, Trev. It's
Okay. It's the shittiest place in California to be, man.
Why?
Oh, it's just you have to keep your head on a swivel. Not into the point where it's like, oh, man, these gangsters are going to roll up on me. Where you just have to keep your head on a swivel because there's crackheads everywhere.
Yeah.
Prime time story. Izzy, do you remember where it's you, me, and Austin, and we went and got ice cream at Rite Aid?
Yeah.
And that lady, and I was eating
lady.
the ice cream. Yeah, I was eating the ice cream, and this lady in front of my car, she's like, he's recording me.
Trev's sitting there eating his ice cream. He's like,
like, what? So she like
thought the ice cream cone was a camera?
Yeah, so she's tapping her husband, like, they're recording me, what the fuck? And like screaming at us, like, and her car is literally parked right in front of mine. So I'm just like staring at this lady in my piece of shit Ford Focus, like.
I was like, Trev, step on it. Let's get out of here.
I know. So I didn't even finish my ice cream, and then we just left. And then she speeds off too the other way. I'm like, what the fuck?
Dude, sketch.
driving
And that was
back-
like an everyday thing, man.
Oh yeah, it was like we would go at least a couple times a week to get that Rite Aid.
No, I mean like
candy ice cream.
and like conflicts like that, like
Oh yeah.
confrontation with people
So,
on the
dude.
street and just weird people around, like the graffiti everywhere, man. You go to the bank, like it's just you're looking over your shoulder at the ATM. It's just like a really bad area.
that was-
You're really selling this place.
Yeah, for anyone who wants to go.
It worked
man.
for Izzy. It worked for Izzy. I got him to
I
come.
know. Well, that was another thing. That's probably a good transition to start. Like we met. You were the guy that gave me a tour when I went on my visit to San Bern, and it was pretty cool. That's kind of how we met, and it was me and my dad, and you were just showing us around campus, and like it was funny because we went to the little pub area where we would go watch games sometimes, and like right there in front of my dad, he was like, "Yeah, man, like sometimes we come here watch Champions League games and we get pretty faded." I was like, "Trev, you probably don't want to be saying that in front of my dad, bro." I was like, "Feel the room." But
Yeah, it's
it was good,
college.
man. It was fun.
Everyone knows.
Yeah. It was fun though. But that was like my first interaction with you. And
Yeah.
it was funny too because like I don't know if I told you, but right before I went on that San Bern visit, I had gone to Chico. So I went on Friday to San Bernardino, and I went on to Chico on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole car ride down, like I was so sold on Chico. I was like, man, I love this place. Like the atmosphere, like it was such a college town. The vibes, the team, you know, like everything was so sick, you know. And like after my visit or after like my tryout, we go to the locker room, we shower, and then after like one of the guys, it was just one guy that was supposed to show me around. And then like 5 or 6 of them were like, "Where are you guys going?" And he told them like, "Oh, I was just going to take him here and show him around campus." And everyone's like, "Yeah, let's go." Like it was like 10 deep, 10 to 15 people like just start walking around. Like they're showing me around campus, and we go eat. And bro, I just fell in love with the place. I fell in love with the team. And just driving, I drive back home, and I go down with my dad the following day, and we stay the night before my visit at San Bern. And it was so funny because the whole time I felt so guilty. I was like, I feel like I'm cheating on my girlfriend or something. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm so in love with Chico State. Yeah, I was like, I'm going to another school. Like I feel so bad. And then I go there, and the thing that sold me on San Bern was really the area. It wasn't like
close to everything.
Yeah, man. It was just the idea of SoCal and more opportunity in SoCal after school with soccer. That's kind of what sold me on it. And then the team, when we practiced, it was super competitive. It was super competitive and majority Hispanic, so I fit right in. And it was like a killer instinct, the killer mentality, and I just love that, man. I loved how everybody was so aggressive, and as soon as it was over, like everyone was cool with each other, you know. But inside,
Yeah,
like
and-
they're basically like fighting each other, and I'm like, dude, like I want this, I'm down, you know, I love this, and it was so competitive, and it was a different vibe than Chico, and I think that's what sold me on it, man. It was sick
I
too.
think it was like the player in me sold me on San Bernardino, and probably for you, the student in you got sold for Chico. You know what I mean?
Because then they were walking me around. They were telling me it's like the number 3 business program in the whole conference. So I was big on the program, you know, and they were like really selling
number
me
one
on
party school in the conference too, probably.
All right.
That was definitely a plus. How'd you get to San Bern? How'd you end up there? Because you were there a year before me, right? You had played a year before me.
Yeah,
You
so
transferred
your
there.
recruitment year, I was redshirting. That was the year of my heart surgery. And then for me to go there, it was the most stressful thing of my life. It was twice as stressful as it was from high school to college. Because, you went JUCO route too, and
Yeah.
you get one decent year freshman year to get a feel of what college ball is like, and then sophomore year is all about just getting recruited.
Yeah.
But I did this recruitment website kind of deal. So you paid X amount of money, and then they shipped your everything out to these schools. Because the previous men coach at Peninsula College went and worked at that recruiting website. So he was telling a bunch of players, like, come do it, come through me, I'll give you a better price. And he sent them out to like 1,500 schools in the country. So it was like, that part was great. But the hard part for me was the people who I was comparing my shit to was like 6'5" center back, like a 5'10" winger, and then I was a 5'8" center midfielder.
Yeah.
So I was getting like the first day, these guys got 350 emails replied back and offering them money, this, and that, come visit, this, and that. And it took mine a week and a half to get one.
What?
Oh, man.
So it was D3 in Philadelphia.
Damn.
So like it literally sent you out through everyone. And majority of mine, I got a lot of NAIAs and D3s,
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't really necessarily use that. I got decent talks from him, but what really helped was my coach at Peninsula, Kale Rodriguez. Shout out to Kale Rodriguez. He's a living legend. Assistant coach at UC Irvine right now, but he was like, what schools are you interested in? I might know them. And I told him anywhere in California, just because born and raised tiny. I don't know, Gabe, if you knew this. I'm born and raised Cheney, Washington. It's a tiny town, like 10, 12,000 population. So getting scouted and recruited here is borderline impossible.
Tough. Yeah.
So actually my first option was Hawaii Pacific. Because I was like, dude, like Hawaii. Tiny kid, tiny town, Cheney to Hawaii it's a dream and a half.
Yeah.
So I was super sold on them. And then Chico was a close second as well. And then he said he knew the coach at San Bernardino. So I was like, okay, like out of respect for him, I'll shoot him my email and whatnot. And then things get further down the road. I cut it down to, oh yeah, dude. So here's the thing. I emailed every bottom 5 D1 school in the nation, every conference, bottom 5, because I knew like, I could play D1. I'm probably not going to start. I'm probably not going to change lives, but I could be on the team.
Yeah.
And then I emailed every top 5 D2 and every top 5 in their conference out of every conference in the nation. So I emailed over 80 schools. And then I got replies back from 10, and then 5 got serious, and then it got down to those 3. And so Hawaii Pacific, they didn't offer me much money, and then I heard that their field was almost an hour away from campus. I was like,
Damn.
how do you schedule that in with class? And I heard that they didn't accept many transfer credits.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was just a lot of iffy areas about it. But then you're like, oh, man, it's Hawaii.
Yeah, man.
You can
Right.
look over those things.
Exactly. And then Chico, he didn't do much. He just said, like, I respect KO a lot and I respect his opinion, but I don't. He said he personally didn't trust highlight videos. So he wanted me to come down for an ID camp. And I was like, I know that shit's a fundraiser.
Yeah.
And then talking to Darren, he was telling me about their school and, like, they've had it if he passed. Because at the time when I was transferring in, the season before they took 9th. Before that was 11th. And then before that was, like, dead last.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, what the heck? And then he was telling me about the season before that they were really good, but they were really close. So I searched it up. They literally lost every game that season by 1 goal.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so he is right. So I went on YouTube, watched a couple games on them. And honestly, I just thought they didn't have, like, a player in my position that did what I did. I just got the ball and I passed it a lot, and that's all I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like that's what they were lacking, and a good forward. So that's when I told Kale about it, because he at that time was in closing with Dominguez Hills, which is crazy.
He was trying to get you to go to Dominguez Hills?
No, he was getting close to Dominguez Hills, and I just mentioned him about San Bernardino.
Oh, okay.
And so he, I think it was like they told Kale they could do money, and then after that they just cut him off, didn't talk to him ever again. Just weird.
Oh,
And
you're talking
then-
about KO.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying Kale, like a coach
Oh,
or
no.
something.
Kale.
Oh, okay,
old
okay.
roommate.
Gotcha.
So then talking to Darren, he called me a bunch, and we talked about formations and stuff and money and making it affordable. And so my biggest reason was this is, I'm coming off a conference championship at Peninsula to a school that needs the work and needs just that little bit of push and grind to get them to be a known school within the area. So I figured, why not step up for that challenge? Something that's completely out of my comfort zone, foreign city. I didn't even visit San Bernardino. All you hear about San Bernardino was on the news, and it ain't nothing good.
Yeah.
So I just purely went for soccer, and turned out great, honestly. I mean, my 2 years that we played, we made it to the semifinals of conference. Year after I played, they made it to top 4 in the nation. That just makes you feel good. I feel like being an alumni there.
Absolutely. And you kind of came in when Darren was taking over. So
Yeah, that was his interim season.
Yeah, so you're part of, like, that transition, And that's what I was telling Gabe, that it's such a good feeling to know, like, you're part of like a winning culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're part of that. You're not like the alumni from 3 years previous that got dead last. Like, you actually,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Like, he saw something in you to bring you into that, and now they're, like, ranked nationally.
Yeah, and that also kind of hit me too. Like my senior season, you kind of have to sit and reflect. Like growing up, it was weird being, growing up, I was always the youngest because I always played up. And then finally being the oldest on the team with captain's band. Like there was moments where I would talk to these freshmen and you could literally see it in their eyes and you're like, holy shit, like this kid is looking up to me right now.
Yeah.
And then that's when it really hit me. And I was like, okay, like I literally have to watch everything I say. It needs to be right. And it needs to be said at the right time.
Yeah.
And so that kind of is just when I feel like as a player, I started to mature. I didn't really play much my senior year, which is fine, is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely had that moment where I was like, okay, if I'm captain and I'm not playing, I have to figure out another way to impact the team.
Absolutely.
So
And I've always thought that was a very interesting dynamic, how you got captainship and were rotated in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, because
Like,
I was captain. I was second captain to Dan my first year I transferred in. There was Dan and Tilo. Then Tilo got hurt for the season. Then it was Dan and DC, and then DC cussed out our entire coaching staff. So then it was me and Dan. And then you came along, and I was supposed to be my senior season and redshirted. So
talk about that. So my first year, during preseason, some stuff happened with the EKG test. What was that?
So the EKG, it was like pretty much a heart test to see how it's circulating and everything. So basically, if mine was irregular, and they said that if it would have, my heartbeat would have gotten too high, it just would have like stopped or imploded, kind of thing. So I go, and from there they just both immediately redshirted me for the whole year, which was crazy. And I had to wait, I think, like 3 weeks to a month before I got the surgery. And I had to treat it like it was like a concussion. You know, I couldn't do anything to get my heart rate up. Like I couldn't drink coffee, couldn't have alcohol, nothing with high sugars. It was just really weird because I personally felt completely fine. And they were like, you could potentially die if your heart rate goes up.
What was the surgery like, or do you know what they actually did, or?
Yeah, I was awake through it all.
Okay.
It was wild. So they went through my arteries and my groins, and they stuck these wires up my body, and then connected it. It was so the irregular spot was on the far part of my heart, far left side of my heart. Mm-hmm. So there was this wall in the way. They literally drilled a hole through it, stuck the wires through it, and then connected the wire to the exact point on my heart where the irregular beat was. And then that took like 4 hours to find that one spot.
And you were awake for the whole 4 hours while they did that?
So they, at the end of the surgery, they gave me like 8 dosages of anesthesia to like make you fall asleep. But the wires were controlling my heart. So they would shoot my heart rate super high to see how it would react and to find that irregular spot. And then they would shoot it really low. And by the time it was low, I was like, oh yeah, like finally, like I'll be able to just fall asleep, wake up, and the shit's done. 2 seconds later, it just goes boop, 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 boop. And I'd be laying down and just feel like I'm in a like minute 8 of a soccer game. Like just like literally sweating, laying down, not doing anything. Oh, and here's the shittiest part too, dude. They had me on this table with like 8 doctors around me, and they got me covered from like my belly button to my shoulder, and then like mid quad to my feet. So literally just my junk is out. I'm sitting on this freaking table with like 8 different doctors and nurses around me. Like, it's a little cold in here, don't you think?
They start laughing at you.
Here's the thing, bro. Through my x-rays, I had this like irregular veins that are supposed to go down through your torso, and then they like go adjacently out by your hips. Mine did that, but it stopped like halfway at my rib cage. So this doctor's like, hey, go get Dr. Smith and Jones and tell him to get Bob and come check this out. So I'm just sitting here with my junk out with now like 14 doctors in the room. Just talking about what, God knows what, dude.
We're all taking pictures.
Yeah,
It was real, man. It was bad.
Oh, that's so bad. You should sue, man. You're probably gonna find those pictures online somewhere.
Oh yeah, dude. So like by the time they find the exact spot for my heart, one of the doctors comes in and like, okay, we found it. We're gonna press this button. It's gonna electrocute your heart, and it's gonna kill that irregular beat right there and then. I was like, oh, sweet, cool. And so they're like, we're gonna give you one more hit of anesthesia so it doesn't hurt. So, okay, that's fine. And so by then there was like 7 dosages of anesthesia.
Jesus.
And then they just go, boop, click. And then I'm just on the table like, oh shit, oh. And they're like, stop. You were not supposed to feel that. We are so sorry. So we're just going to give you a little more anesthesia this time.
Oh my God.
Electrocuted me from the inside out. And they're just like, whoops, sorry.
Damn. Dude, that's so
So
scary.
yeah, they gave me, I don't know, one anesthesia, a little stronger dosage, and then they did it again. And it was, that point was like, it was uncomfortable, but it wasn't as bad as the first.
I feel that.
And then right there and then, boop, I was cured, done,
Nice.
more heart problems.
Did you know about that before the EKG test? Like, did you know your whole life, or was it just something that spontaneously happened?
So they said I was born with it, which is the craziest part. Because, growing up, you're 8 years old, playing outside all day, probably sprinting in circles for an hour, just getting your heart rate up, and I could have gone at any moment at the end of that time. Just getting my heart rate high enough.
Scary.
So it was like the weirdest blessing I've ever received was to do that EKG test.
I'm surprised.
Because it was so random.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm surprised that you didn't do it your first year there.
It wasn't mandatory. I'm pretty sure it was Luis that he volunteered our team to do it for his class.
Oh, okay.
And then we all did it. And then that was in the winter. And then the following summer, through paperwork, they told our trainers about it. And then from there, they pulled me in and told me I couldn't play. So that winter to spring to summer, they knew that I had this irregular heart that could stop at any moment in time. And no one looked at it until the next season. Damn. And so because of that, I didn't pay a penny for the whole surgery and all that.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So
you never
the
even
school took
got
care of it?
anything in the mail. Yeah. I think that was them just saying oops, sorry, we fucked up.
Dude, yeah. That's
You
insane.
almost died, so we'll cover your surgery.
That's loud. So were you at school after you were done playing soccer? Was there a little period there before you graduated? What was that like? Going from the transition of student athlete to just regular student?
Yeah, that was probably one of the hardest times of my life. No one ever prepares you for it, tells you about it, but that moment, just even the last second of the last game that we had, it was I never got over that for a year and a half, just realizing wow, I don't play soccer anymore. So what am I? Who am I?
Yeah, man. I was, it's something that me and Gabe talked about. And when I came back, all my close friends know it, but I struggled hard. And I'm saying just to kind of stop and basically, what was it for me? 6 or 8 years that you're just constantly putting in work over the summers. You're choosing the sport over work. You're choosing the sport over friends sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you're playing at a high level. You need to be family, yeah. You got to play and train at 100%. And then for it to just come to an abrupt stop, you're just I've identified myself, man, as an athlete or a student athlete for so long, and that transition's tough.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, and I saw this thing the other day is that they don't talk about enough is student athlete depression. Because as an athlete, you're not going to show it because you can't let those emotions take care of you mentally, or else your game's going to be off. So you're in that constant mental battle. And then on top of that, your only stress reliever to be free and who you really want to be, soccer, is gone. You don't know how to take care of that. Mm-hmm. So I drank a lot. I got a job at a brewery and I drank a lot.
Hey, talk about that. Talk about how you got the job.
Yeah. And I didn't drink as an outlet. That was never the issue. I love the party.
It's exactly what an alcoholic would say, Trev.
Mm-hmm. It's the first signs.
Yeah, actually, you're an alcoholic if you average more than 7 beers a week.
Really?
Yeah, it's insane. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's technically a beer a day. I'm like, dude, I do that every Friday.
Dude, I think that's a lot. 7 beers a week?
It's a beer a day.
Mm-hmm. But if you think about that on a weekend, I mean, if you're out and having fun with a bunch of friends, you could easily get 4, 5, 6, 7,
Isn't that even worse, just binge drinking?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. But, dude, come on. We're young. We're in college.
We're invincible.
We're invincible. Shit, dude. I used to, hopefully none of my coaches watch this, but we used to get faded on a Wednesday night between a few of us, finish a half gallon of vodka, go and train at 6 a.m. and then have a game on Thursday. Friday.
At San Bern or in?
No, Peninsula.
Damn. Dude, yeah,
younger,
man.
wilder days.
Yeah, that's another thing too that you don't think about. I remember our junior college coach had a 48-hour rule. Was that Darren?
Mm-hmm.
Was that Darren?
It was Darren.
Oh, okay, it was Darren. Then. But you don't realize how long it stays in your system for. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can
when
do
you're
it
that
like
young too, dude, you're running every day, doing this, and that. Walking to school, walking to class, you're an active body. So that shit just goes through you quick, you know?
Mm-hmm.
When you get older and you start doing a lot less, oof.
Yeah,
My hangovers are terrible now, dude. They last all day.
Yeah. It's not fun, man. That kind of stuff makes you just want to stop.
I sidetracked. What were we
No, I was just about to say, talk about how you got that brewery job, because that was something. Or I'll lead us into it. I'll lead us into it because I was telling Gabe on the way here that it was in my intro to marketing class. My teacher gave us an assignment to go to a brewery and help out because he had known the owners. So they were setting up an event for that day, and it was like once a year they do a special batch of beer. And he was telling us
anniversary.
It was the anniversary. Yeah.
Day.
So he was telling us if you guys go, I'll give you like, what was it, like a 300 or 400 points extra credit. And he was like, for every person that you take, like as a +1 to help out in this event, it'll be like another 100 points. And I always hung out at your house and with KO, and I was like, dude, you're the only like friend that I knew that was like 21. KO wouldn't have been down. And I was like, Trev, like, you want to go? And you're like, yeah, I'm down. So
yeah.
So we go. You're like, dude, brewery. You're like, I love beer. I was like, all right, say less. Let's go. And we go to this event, and it was actually really fun. So all we had to do was work like a morning shift, and we had planned it out ahead of time. So we're like, let's work in the morning. Like, we'll be good. We'll be good to just hang out the rest of the day. That's exactly what we did. All we did was show up. We just helped set up some tables, the band, like the banner for the band where they were gonna play. And then after we were done, we were just hanging out. We tried their new beer, the new batch. We got like 2 free tickets. Like the line was like 30 minutes to like 45 minutes long just for the wait. And after, bro, like it was fun. It was fun. But like,
it was a blast.
Dude, it was so much fun. And then after that, how did you even get the job? You got like offered a job?
So when we were volunteering out, I saw the boss, and I don't even remember who was working at the time. Like, because after working there and looking back, like, I don't remember any of my coworkers' faces, but they for sure worked there. But anyway, one of them was working hella slow and not doing shit. And I was like, look, lady, I'm volunteering and I'm working harder than your employees. Like, where's my application? She was like, send one in, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, yeah, just kind of chatting it up with her. And then 2 weeks after the anniversary, she texted me and she was like, hey, you never sent in your application. Like, we actually enjoyed you when you were volunteering, so think about it. Like, so I told her I'd be in, but I just have to finish soccer. Like, I can't do both.
Yeah.
So then hit her up like a year later and got the job, and it was a blast. But what was funny though was that day when we were volunteering, I got kicked out. They kicked me out of the brewery because they thought we were still on our volunteer hours and not done with our shift.
That's right.
And you weren't allowed to drink on the job.
That's right.
And so they saw us. Izzy was in the bathroom, and I'm holding his beer and my beer, and I'm drinking. So they're like, "Wow, this mother is double fisting
like,
on the job." So now I know. Like, one of our brewers, he comes up to me and he's like, he just grabs one of my beers and you're like, "Get out." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, just get out." I was like, okay. So
no explanation.
Grab my beer out of my hand, and he's like, "Get out." And so I leave. Izzy's in the bathroom, and I called him. I was like, dude, shit, they just kicked me out, man. Like, we gotta go.
Hella paranoid. I was like, what happened?
Yeah. He's in the bathroom, just, what's going on? And when you walked out, like, they were right there waiting for you or something?
Yeah. So they were like talking about it and like, oh, this kid just got caught. And I was like, oh, dude, that's Trev. And I was telling them like, no, we were just worked the morning shift. We're done. And after that, they're like, oh, no way. Like, so it felt super bad. And they just walked us up to the front of the line and got us more beer. After that, They felt really bad. Got Trev back in, and we just hung out.
No, so that was always the joke. Like, years later when I got the job, like, a good relationship started off by kicking me out.
That's hella funny.
But that job was great, dude. It was so much fun. I've had the best beer I've ever had there. Some of the best coworkers I'll ever have. Great boss. We had food trucks there all the time, so I ate some good food too. Great local regular customers. Like, some of the regulars reach out to me to this day, so that just makes the job all worth it.
That's awesome. That's awesome that you have a good relationship with everyone there.
Oh yeah, they actually visited not too long ago. They were going through the west side of Washington and stopped by here for a day, so that was very cool.
Yeah. So, talk about what you do now. What are you doing now?
Doing a lot, man. So when I first moved back, I accepted assistant coaching job at my old high school for coaching soccer.
Nice.
And a day before our first home game, COVID hit. So our whole season got canceled.
You guys played in the spring?
Yeah, here in Washington, it's girls soccer, fall, guys, spring.
Huh. That's kind of cool.
It's different, huh? Because in California, all of you guys are fall, huh?
Well, the lower schools are fall, but now like the bigger, more competitive ones are in the winter to make it more of a competitive like state championship thing. It's weird.
Wow. Dude, my high school, all 4 years of high school, every first day of practice, we shoveled off snow. And that's all we did for the first day. So we shoveled off the field and then ran sprints on it.
That's awful. You know what's crazy that I didn't realize until you told me is like over there it's all artificial turf.
A lot of schools. Cheney there isn't, but in Spokane, yeah. And in Seattle.
And that's because fields are hard to maintain and the snow and stuff.
Snow, rain. Sometimes they'll like slush, where it's like half snow, half rain.
Ugh.
So yeah, fields get torn up here.
Dude, that's what we needed in our high school. Like our field was always.
So
torn
what's weather like over there? Because we got at least 4 inches of snow right now.
Really? Over here it's super cloudy and it rains a lot. It hasn't been raining, huh, Gabe? It hasn't rained like
that often. No.
Like growing up,
super foggy.
Yeah, growing up, it was always like overcast and cold and gloomy. You know, like when you watch a movie and they're in like London or something or in England, like that's what Fort Bragg's like. Like it's very gloomy.
Do you guys get snow?
No,
on that part of California.
No,
snow
not at all.
It doesn't get over the mountains. But okay, continue. You were saying you were coaching.
Oh, yeah. So after coaching, I've been studying for my real estate exam. When I was about ready to take the exam, COVID hit harder, or the second wave or whatever in Washington. So this testing centers got closed for like 3 months.
God damn.
So I've been waiting on that. And then I took it recently and I failed the state portion by 1 point.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, dude. So I got to take it again. It's all good though.
Was it a hard test?
Yeah, it's 135 questions, 3.5 hours.
Jesus, that's brutal.
Yeah, it's a whole new language.
Yeah.
You know, you have to learn the new vocab and terms and regulations. So.
How'd you get into real estate?
Very lucky. My dad, he is on like, I want to say year 30, 31 of owning Cheney Realty in here in Cheney. So
Nice.
I'm just working for him.
Was that always like a plan B for you if something didn't work out? Like
Yeah. So my dad, his junior year of college, he started working at Cheney Realty. And then from there, the previous owner passed it on to him.
Damn.
And so here we are today. So through that, actually, I met a family friend of ours, or just recently became one. He's new to the area, but he got contacted to be a sports agent. And at the time, he was an Eastern women's soccer coach. And that would have been illegal, you know, because it's like recruiting your own players.
Yeah.
And players can't talk to agents. But so he referred me to the agency's head director, honcho, CEO, FO kind of dude. Spoke with him. He's like, oh, yeah, we do this, and that. You have to take this course. And then
so when you like explain
agent.
a little more, like elaborate, what is it that they do? What do you talk to you about?
So I would represent players to either becoming pro or who are already professional. And then I sit in between the player and whatever team it may be and negotiate contracts for them. And stuff like that. Try and get him endorsements and sponsorships. Sounds all very fun and very cool, but it's pretty tough, especially when you're in the middle of a pandemic and you live in Cheney, Washington. You can't travel anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are the hardest things to do with that job right now? Is it just travel, not being able to go to places?
Yeah, just because I could be, watching players otherwhere, make a couple trips to California, and watch players there or meet college coaches face to face and tell them what I'm doing and stuff, which was my original plan. So right now it's all via Zoom and emails. And like when I got certified to become an agent, I was, asking the agency, what's next? How do I, reach out to people? Do I reach out to people or do you guys give me contacts? Mm-hmm. And that was all over email. So it took sometimes I'd email them 3 times and get a response back 2 weeks later.
So where are they out of?
Portland. But they said none of them are at headquarters in Portland. They're all working from home. So it's all just electronic right now.
And you haven't met any of them? You haven't met any of them in person?
Just Zoom meetings.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Would they help you find your first client, or is it kind of dog eat dog right there?
Yeah. Because if they're referring to someone else, that's money lost from them.
Yeah.
Dang. So you really have to go there and find the players.
I have to find the players. They are in great contacts with teams. They said they're in strong contacts with about 3/4 of the MLS and USL. So they got good connections. It's just finding the talent and commissionable talent is what they said. So that's kind of the tough part. Because the players, you think oh yeah, this guy could do it. He can go pro. He'd be fine. 2-3 years, everyone would know. They're not about it. They're not trying to take any risks. What they need is up and now and ready to go. Mm-hmm. Which makes sense from a business perspective. It just sucks from an American soccer fan that hates the stereotype of American soccer.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be very frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of does make sense. You don't want to throw your marbles or your eggs into one basket with one player that's never played at the professional level.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Do you know?
Yeah,
what were you gonna say?
I was just to say sometimes you gotta take risks.
Yeah,
100%.
Dang, that'd be tough.
My arguments were Jamie Vardy, N'Golo Kante started at Leicester City, 3 divisions from the top level, and they won the highest level that you can win trophies. Some people it takes time. Not everyone's on the same track. It's just giving the right people the right opportunity and the right belief. I think anyone could do it or become one of the best.
Yeah. I feel like with those restrictions, it's kind of hard for you to break in, into that industry, because it's if you're coming in with, it'd be different if you could get a player that you really believe in and they're okay, let's try it out. Let's kind of see what potential he has. But if they just want people that are already experienced at that level and to come in and do well with the professional team, then that kind of poses you with a more difficult task of recruiting a player that's already pro. Because it's you're new to this.
Which, if they're already pro, they probably either have an agent from their club or an agent before that club,
Yeah.
And then on top of I'm a new agent, I don't have any backstory that they know of. They can't really trust my opinion because I could be just offering them, whoever. So
how do you break in then in this industry? You just have to kind of get lucky and find a good player, and then he goes on and he's successful.
Yep, and that just builds your credit.
Damn.
Right now, I emailed them because Portland's not too far from here. It's about 6 hours away, so it's a drive, but it's doable. Mm-hmm. And I was they haven't been replying to my email, so I was hey, I'm coming. I'll go to Portland, meet you guys face to face. Is there a time that I can do that? I'm oh, well, no one's working there, so you can't. Oh, that's good. I'll just wait another month for you to reply to my email.
Dude, that's frustrating. Jeez, that's a red flag right there.
Oh, no, it cannot be. I spent a lot of money I spent my, what was that? Stipend check.
Stimulus
check to become an agent.
Nice.
Was it a course that you take or what?
Yeah, it was an 8-week course. It was pretty cool, actually. Like, you get to learn. It's not like that you, as a soccer player, you don't really know these things. It's now you're more aware of them, like the business perspective of it.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of things you already figured, but now it's just like, oh, like that's actually real.
Yeah, and it's like stuff we've never had to deal with because we're not pros. You're not dealing with contracts and you're not dealing with wages.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what percentage you would get if you were to sign a pro player? Like, how does that work? How do you make money?
You get to choose because I'm an independent contractor, so I get to choose my commission. From what I've heard, dude, it was super cool. I actually through the class, I had to talk to a former a coach, a former pro, someone who is pro, or like a current coach, and I talked around and told people about it, and I got to meet an ex-Newcastle player, and he played for Newcastle United for I think he had a 7-year total spell at Newcastle, and then played in the Premier League for 12 years, I think it was.
What's his name?
Oh, geez.
Okay.
I don't even remember.
I don't want to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I can't leak my contacts. That's why I can't tell you.
I feel. You're like, I had to sign NDAs. I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, that's the reason why. And so yeah, I got to talk to him, and he was saying that those type of agents, they try and do like 20 to between 15 and 25%.
That's what I've heard. It's around 15 to 25 of the
those
contract.
Contracts are much expensive, but because I was trying to go for people I personally knew, I was just going to do either no commission or 5%. Because at that point, I'm not really worried about money. I got 2 other jobs that can produce that for me. I'm just trying to get this guy who I think can do it to do it. And didn't really work out. So
yeah, man.
It's all good, though.
It's kind of crappy when your heart's in the right place, and you want to help people on or help people move on because they have the skill and the potential, but the industry just doesn't let you,
Yeah. That was the eye-opening experience. So I just got to expand my horizons, figure out new ways. I'm definitely going to have to probably do a road trip to Seattle, try that out, go there, talk to coaches and whoever I can, give it my business card, and we'll see.
I feel that. What is your plan like long term? Not just for this, but like in life. Like, what do you have going on, or what do you plan on doing?
That's a good question. At the moment, I'm living life day to day. Just because, one, I don't have my real estate license yet. Still working on that. Shout out to COVID. And then, yeah, that agency thing too, just waiting on that clears up. Because I know, if I can meet these people face to face, it's a different story than an email,
Yeah.
They'll
Definitely.
be more worried about, who I am rather than my track record.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
But ideally, you'd want to be able to be that agent for people if you had to pick a career, real estate or being an agent.
I wouldn't really put the agency first just because it's a very tough job to make it an income off of unless you can get a Neymar or Paul Pogba when they're making, crazy contracts.
Yeah.
But even then, dude, Paul Pogba's agent has 15 different players who are playing at the top level, so that guy is sitting very pretty. But
those people got to start somewhere, though. So just wondering
exactly
how they did it and whatever. Maybe you could go overseas or go somewhere else. And
so that's also a tough part too. Whatever you get your agency license in, you have to get I forget what the paperwork's called, but you have to get approved in that country to work there for agency. For the specific agency, not like a work permit to work in America, like a specific license for that league.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. It's kind of just seems like it's a lose-lose. Like, how do you get your start? How do you get in? Would you ever consider going to the Adidas Combine or professional combines and just kind of talking to players to see if they have agents or not? Handing out your card.
Oh, straight up, I'm gonna have to cold call, or essentially
cold email, cold call.
Yeah, just go up to random people and be like, "Hey, I thought you were dope. Here's my business card. I represent this agency. Let's see what we can do."
Maybe you might be able to sell them on your low on your low price or your low the percentage you take?
Oh, commission rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of my goal too. Because I mean, if I can make money from that, that's cool. If not, it's not going to be a game changer in my life. I just think soccer was so great for me growing up. It's a good way to stick around and give back to what kind of helped make me become me.
I feel that. Are you still going to coach high school when everything goes back to normal?
Yeah, we're getting emails every day on like what's going on, what's next. But I mean, with this COVID shit, you don't know what's next and what's going on. No one does.
Very true.
Man. It's very frustrating. We just had a compliance meeting or like a COVID education meeting at Sonoma State about that. It was like 170 people on a Zoom call and like doctors and the athletic director and just like all these different people telling us about what they know so far, how we should, like the protocols we should take, like answering all our questions. Like there's people that are like need to make a decision on housing like before November to see if they're going to get housing.
You guys have dorms open or do you have dorms? Is there dorms in Sonoma?
There's dorms, yeah, but I don't know if they're open, to be honest. I just know there's a bunch of like...
I doubt it.
I doubt it. But there was like a bunch of kids that needed to know whether to like reserve a dorm or not for the spring. Like, should we move in? Should we look for housing? Like, what are we doing? Like, there's so many unanswered questions, and not even they can answer it. It's just like, it's kind of scary, like, because you want to know what you're going to do like next spring. You want to plan ahead, but everything that's going on isn't really allowed.
But no one
to do
knows.
that. Yeah, no one knows.
Nobody can.
You literally have to, you're forced to live day to day. And for some people that they freak out, there's a lot of planners in the world that have to do things, plan things out and live in this day to day. I don't know, man. It's just crazy.
It is crazy, man. But transitioning into something else, talk about your podcast. Because for those that don't know, you got a new podcast, man. Sell me on it. What is it?
If you don't know, you won't know. No, I'm just kidding. We're called Bourbon Boys and Footy. And honestly, we've been thinking about that the other day. We're not really a podcast. I'd say we're a talk show just because we don't put any of our stuff on podcasting platforms. We do Twitch right now, and we're going to do YouTube as well because that's where I've been hearing the money's at YouTube.
Yeah, do YouTube,
You
man.
can do an
YouTube
hour-long
famous.
video. That's a shit ton of ads, and that helps out.
Absolutely. And it's just way easier when you can like have videos stored up and people can go back and watch what you do, When you just go live one time and there's no archive, it's kind of tough to gain new followers,
It is. And the requirements for Twitch to become affiliated hopefully they don't listen to us, but aren't that bad. Like you have to average like 6 viewers per episode. You need, I think, 100 followers and put a video at least once every day of the week.
Once every day of the week, so 7 videos a week?
No. So you need to have a video posted on a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday. I probably said that very wrong, but
so you have to have a video every day of the week.
yeah, but you don't have to do it. You just need one on record that you've posted one on a Monday, you posted one on a Tuesday. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you have to do it. You literally have to post every day of the week.
Okay.
You just need one of every day.
Does seem like
poor.
and
That was
that's
poorly explained. My bad.
No, that's all good. But that's like before you can make money off Twitch? Like that's what you need?
That's to become affiliated or verified or
monetized. Dude, on YouTube it's like 1,000 subscribers.
Oh, I bet.
And 4,000 watch hours, which is harder than you think, dude.
Oh yeah.
4,000? We're what, like 15 episodes, 17 episodes in, and we only got like 700 watch hours. It's insane.
It is. It's so funny though, because my little sister, back in the day, she was like, I want to say 8 to 10 years old. And her friends would make these weird dorky videos on her laptop. One day we found out she made a YouTube account and posted all these videos of her doing the dorky shit. And we got a letter in the mail from YouTube asking if like they can pay her.
Did she do it?
What?
She did for a bit and then she kind of like drifted off and stopped because it wasn't like a crazy amount of money, but still making money.
Yeah.
8 or 10 years old, making some dorky video that's completely irrelevant to anything that's going on in the world.
Dude, that's insane.
I know. So it's doable, but
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, man,
we
you should
just do.
Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
We sip whiskey, bourbon, talk soccer, and sidetrack and bullshit a bit. With Twitch, there's chat involvement, so you can kind of go back and forth with chat about topics. So that's pretty fun.
Nice.
And crazy, dude. After our second episode, we got a free bottle from the local distillery here because first episode we were. Every drunk moment we have, we say, shout out to Dry Fly Distillery. You know? We shouted them out so much and just kept tagging them in our stuff. We got a free bottle.
Let me see.
Oh, that's loud.
That's
We got
loud.
a free bottle, and we got like four packs of cocktail drinks that they make.
Dude, that's
So we got
awesome.
like
Sweet.
$160 worth of alcohol for free.
Dude, that's the move,
Nice.
man.
Yeah.
Just keep plugging them
How
up.
often do you guys stream?
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Yeah.
And-
Same time or?
Yep, 7 p.m.
Okay.
Do you guys? What do you like?
Bourbon
Do you
boys
guys
and
like? Do you guys prep beforehand, or how do you do that? Like, do you get all the
Yeah,
week football news and you just kind of put it
So-
together? And how do you do that? What's your preparation like?
At the beginning of every episode, we always do a weekend or a week recap. And I mean, we're not going out of our way to like, oh, Ibar played Real Sociedad over the weekend. That was a nail biter.
Yeah.
Like, we do the bigger games. So we just talk about those games, the ones that we really watched. Talk about the players, and then it's with your good friend. So then the alcohol flows and you end up just chatting, really. And then we try. The hard part is, one, not getting too drunk to where you repeat yourself. And then staying on track the whole time. Dude, actually, it's so funny. The very first episode we recorded, we went live on Twitch. We didn't have like anyone watching. It was like something. But afterwards we were like, oh man, halfway through the bottle, like we had a great time. We go back, none of us pressed save after we recorded. So on our Twitch page, it's just blank. Like they were live like 15 minutes ago and it's just blank. We're like, oh great.
So
we had to do
nothing
the
went
whole
up.
thing over again. Yeah.
Damn.
And yeah.
That's so
By
funny.
that
We-
time we were like super drunk. My whole face was just beet red. Got that Asian glow going.
I feel that,
It's a real thing, man. It's a real thing.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
That's tough.
dude. It's a blast. It's a blast though. I enjoy it. This last episode we had dedicated to Bayern Munich. They won 5 trophies this year, and the whole soccer world hasn't mentioned it like at all, really.
Yeah, man.
If it was Barcelona or Real Madrid, people would be shitting their pants.
Why do you think that is?
Just the size of the club. They're more of like the biggest club in Germany, and then like top 10 in the soccer world. But if you're not that Barcelona, Real Madrid, Manchester United kind of club,
Iconic, kind of.
yeah, they don't
Yeah.
get much. Which is crazy that they aren't though, because they have more Champions League titles than United, and they've won their league more than I'm pretty sure the other ones. So it's just kind of branding and stuff too.
Yeah, man. They're definitely the powerhouse right now. They're untouchable.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
right after they won the Champions League final, they go into the first game of Bundesliga and win 8-0. Like
That's pretty
they're
standard
just-
for them, though.
It is. They just
Yeah.
rack up these goals. Doesn't matter who they play. Like their coach is just so passionate. Like against what was it? It was Barcelona when they were up 4-0 at like half. Like before the half, he's on the touchline up 4-0, screaming at his players like, "Why aren't you doing this better? Why aren't you doing that?" And that's why they ended up scoring 8 goals, because that's their standard.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's just crazy to see that no one's talking about that.
That's why they're so enjoyable to watch, because they bust their ass. Like they
And
go
attack.
balls to the wall. Yeah, and it's no.
Definitely.
I mean, they have flair. They have players that they're tricksters and flair, but it's like I'll give you an example. Back in the day when I like CR7 and Messi were going at it, like a lot of the commentators would be like, "Why aren't people like?" There's these kids that want to replicate Ronaldo and Messi and dribble and do all these things, but it's like realistically, you guys should be looking at a player like Thomas Mueller, Like this guy does every single run right. You know, he passes the ball right. He assists. He scores goals. It's like that's a player that's realistically like a goal that you can achieve. You know, not like Messi and Ronaldo is like a once in a lifetime thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's talent and it's hard work. But Thomas Müller is like all hard work. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all fundamentals done right. That's like the perfect German player. You know what I'm saying? Tony Kroos, perfect German player.
Yes, thank you. I was just about to say that.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's the system. It's the like Christock was telling us about it, Gabe. Like they just kind of redo their system and they teach them from a young age, and it's like and it's so interesting to say because it's not just in soccer; it's in other sports too. Like I was watching the Lance Armstrong documentary, and he was talking about how they viewed other nations, like other nationalities, and the way they were, and he was saying that Italians were like kind of like thought really high of themselves. The French were super snotty, and the Germans are just animals. Like they're just machines. He was like, they're like really, they're quiet. They put their head down and they just kind of go forward. They just, you know what I'm saying? And before you know it, they're creeping up on you in the race. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just so crazy because I'm like, oh, dude, that's how they are in soccer too. You know what I'm saying? They're just machines. They just do everything right. They're so efficient in everything they do. Kimmich, same way. You know what I'm saying?
He's
like
so good.
So good.
Well, that's what should be based on too. Like the most important things of the game are the basics of, you know, and the most simple things. Like people that like forget, like in this crazy goal that happened, the most important pass of it was the first layoff. You know, because it's cushioned right. It's for the next guy to play the ball that he needed to play for that guy to score the wonder goal. And those are the like pros. Like Messi and Ronaldo, like you said, they're on another level, and they just do the easiest things, or they make the hardest things look so easy, and that's what the kids are trying to replicate. And like you were saying, you know, you need to follow those Tony Kroos because he does every tiny thing correct to a T, and that's what you want. Imagine if you had 11 of those, you know?
Yeah.
And there you go, Germany. That's
I was
that
going to
German
say, it looked like the German national team.
Yeah, that's that German squad.
Dude, that's awesome. Okay, so before we end it, man, I just want to see who you got tomorrow. El Clásico, Real Madrid versus Barcelona.
Oh yeah, you're both Madrid fans, huh?
Wait, what club do you support?
He's a Man U fan. He's a weirdo.
First and foremost, Man United.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
First and foremost, Man United.
Hold
Second,
on, Trev.
Barca.
I wanna know why you like Man U. I'll tell you why I like Real Madrid, how I got into it. I want to know why you started liking Man U.
Okay. First, Wayne Rooney, back in the day under Sir Alex Ferguson, and at that age I was playing forward too, but he had everything I think a player needed, which, like I said just a little bit ago, he did every tiny thing correct. He played defense as a forward. He ran hard offensively, made runs that he needed to, played the right passes he needed to, and then that allowed him to do the crazy, you know, bicycles, the goals from half. Like, if you work hard, you get a bigger reward. So I just love that about him. And then just the tactics that Sir Alex Ferguson would do, dude. Man, one weekend he would play like 6 defenders and then they would win. And then the next weekend he would play all 4 forwards with 2 midfielders and then they would win. Like, you know, he did Antonio Valencia, who was a good right winger, to a right back. And then, you know, like it's just crazy. And he made the worst players world class. Like, I'm sorry, and I'll admit this foremost. Gary Neville I did not like watching him, like technically or anything, but did all the small things right, and he made FIFA Pro 11, you know, or he was in the World's 11 at one year. And just getting Sir Alex Ferguson could do that with any player. Like Phil Jones, no one even knows who he is nor talks about him, and the people who do know him nowadays thinking he's shit. But Sir Alex Ferguson, back in the day when Phil Jones was like 18, 19, he was starting center midfield for United. And for Sir Alex Ferguson was like, if this kid, you know, continues to do what he's doing, he could be debate one of the best players Manchester United's ever produced. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I love to hear that from a coach, believing in someone who is, you know, like a no one, and then let them become who they needed to become.
Yeah, I feel that. What I will say about Man U is that they're like alumni, like tend to stick around a lot. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like they go to coaching staff like Ollie And freaking Gary Neville, like he's part of the commentating team. They always
Giggs
talk about
too, yeah.
Giggs.
I always see Patrice Evra.
Patrice Evra's always high on it. You know what I'm saying?
Always, man. He's so funny.
He
You should
almost
follow him on
quit.
Instagram. You should follow him on IG. He's so funny, bro.
Did you hear he almost quit Sky Sports News after the game from Tottenham?
He was
Against
so
Tottenham?
pissed. He was so pissed.
He was like, "Man, you guys are either gonna have to put me on any other day than Man United, or I'm gonna walk out because that was god awful."
That just shows a passion, though, man. He loves the
true,
club.
dude.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
That's what I was gonna
That
say.
was-
Like they all, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Dude,
they're
it
all
was Sir
down for
Alex
it.
Ferguson, man. It was him, dude. And you don't see that anymore. No one gets the chances he gets. Like now Zidane on year 3, 4 coaching again for
I
Madrid.
think 4, no?
He's on ice. You know, like there's already rumors that Pochettino's going to replace him.
Yeah,
And it's like Sir Alex Ferguson had 20-something plus seasons at Man United.
yeah.
You know, it's just you gotta.
It's crazy. the
Football
way-
is just not going to learn overnight. Like
Yeah.
you need a year or two to really get into it.
Well, that's what money does now. You know what I'm saying? Like you're losing money, you lose all these games.
Do you need results right away?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
It's
especially
kind
now
of
with
crappy.
COVID too. Like you don't have those ticket sales that you usually rely on,
Yeah.
and with online you get all these. You know, was definitely one of them, but these cheap ass kids who are just going some illegal website to watch the stream, so they're not making money through that either,
Yeah.
or not as much as they could.
Yeah. I was reading that he's kind of Zidane is like relying on these like next 2 games to see if he can turn it around or not, or else he's sacked.
And it's El Clasico and Champions League this following week.
It's insane, man. Like it's messed up, but again,
Pressure's on.
yeah, money talks. But Pochettino at Madrid, I don't even know how I'd like that. I don't know if I like that.
That's
It's
what
just-
I
it's just
felt
there's so many
about the
injuries right now.
United.
There's just so many
Oh.
injuries. Like
Well,
You
and
need
players
to
haven't
under-
hit the form they needed to hit too. Hazard, you guys were relying a lot on Hazard to be
he's injured.
a 20-plus
miss.
goal season a game.
He's
a
injured,
year.
bro. I think like with Chelsea, he missed like 7 or 8 games in his whole spell at Chelsea, and he's already missed 34 with Madrid.
Because he came in overweight.
Whatever
Yeah, I
the
heard
case
of
is,
that.
like
You know?
he's injured.
Your body's not adapted to that 10 extra pounds, so it tries to do the things that it could at the lighter weight, and boom, there goes your ankle.
It's insane,
Gone.
man.
4 months.
Dude,
You
hopefully
see,
Madrid
he's only
wins.
scored what, like 1 goal since he's been there.
Yeah, he hasn't done well,
Yeah, it's
Hasn't done
nothing.
well. and like he gets rotated every time he starts, or it's just frustrating. I'm actually pretty
you
excited
guys-
to see how Bale does at Tottenham. I'm
I
excited.
am too.
man.
Me too, yeah.
I
I
watched
really
every
hope he
game.
can get back into it.
And I think you were the one that told me about the All or Nothing for Tottenham on Amazon Prime, dude.
I like Jose Mourinho now because of it.
Dude, yeah, like
I haven't seen it. I heard it was really good.
it's really good.
Oh, he's so good with his players.
So good, and it's crazy to see because when you see it through the media or kind of just watching the games, you think he's like this hard ass or this unlikable guy, or even like the coaches. You see them as like they're the ones calling the shots, but even like their body language or the way they act around the owner of the team, they act like a captain around the coach. Do you get what I'm saying? Like they're not like the man in the office. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the owner. And they're
Oh,
like,
yep, yep, yep.
do you get what I'm saying? Like his relationship with the Tottenham owner, and he's very like more
It's crazy how much they get a say in it too. That's what blows my mind.
the owner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like how much
Like-
influence they have on the first team.
Yeah,
and,
it's like, what kind of background do you have, bro? Like Jose's won Champions League multiple times, and he has to listen to you.
yeah, it's just a weird dynamic. But it's such a good show. Like that's kind of what opened my eyes. Or like when you were talking about the agency earlier, like just seeing the agents and how they communicate with the teams and how difficult it actually is to get a deal done. You know what I'm saying? Like if all parties don't agree with it, that was the
Christian
craziest
Eriksen
thing.
transfer.
Yeah, I was like, because they were saying like, it's not just a player wanting to leave. You know, it's the wife. Is she happy at home? You know, or like when Vertonghen and Alderweireld, how do you say his name? Alderweireld.
Something like that.
The
Go
two
for
center
it, keep
backs,
going.
the Belgian center backs,
yeah.
how they're like
Alderweireld.
how they're like renegotiating their contracts, and they're kind of getting interviewed and followed around for the week, and they're just talking about how, you know, your family plays a big part of it. You know, like your kids grow up here, they're going to school. You know, do I want to just leave because of an ego trip or because I'm not getting enough minutes? Like, this is like the rest of my career, and they're already on the way down. You know what I'm saying? Like they already peaked and they're on their way down. It's like, where can I retire? And a lot of things go into consideration when you're trying to renegotiate or when you're trying to find a contract for a new team. And you don't really realize that kind of stuff when you're just watching and you see that someone signed. You don't see all the moving parts behind the scenes that kind of go into
learning another language too, dude. Like not only does the player, the whole family too, like you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Or like kind of enrolling them in a school and these kids are going to be struggling because they don't speak Italian. You know, like it sucks. It's weird.
I know it's so crazy. We're all just like, this guy needs to go here. He'd be way good there. Like,
we don't
like
understand
Dutch in like Spain or something. Yeah, like,
it's just going into like
completely different lifestyles and languages.
Absolutely. But so you got Barcelona winning tomorrow?
Yeah, I say Barca, and Man United. Chelsea's after that too, so I'll give you a prediction there. But I say Barca 3-1, and I say Man United 2-0.
2-0 against Chelsea. Dude,
Chelsea's been doing so hot.
I'm surprised. Dude, you know what bothers me is Mount plays more than Pulisic. That pisses me off.
Dude, and it's just there's so much that goes into it. One, Frank Lampard loves Mason Mount because they were together at Derby County.
Yeah.
So I think that has a lot of influence to it too.
But I feel like they're gonna favor the young English prospect over just this American kid.
100%.
But it's like, why would you spend so much money on this American kid and bring him in and just keep him on the bench?
And he's only proven that he can actually do what you need of him to do.
Absolutely.
So
and every time he comes on, he either assists or he scores.
He scores.
But that also could be like a tactic as well. Like that this player does better off the bench.
Yeah, there's that component, but I don't know. I don't know how much.
I don't think it is that either.
I just think
I agree with you. Well, I don't think big thing too with Chelsea. I don't think they found their 11 yet. You know, like their center backs are rotating a lot. They haven't. Ziyech is healthy and he hasn't played yet. You know, Timo Werner you'd expect to play every game and he's rotating.
He's good.
I have him on my fantasy team. I hope he starts. I hope he scores 3 goals on Man U.
Ooh, I got Patrick Bamford on my fantasy team, dude, and he's a hat-trick hero. Which, bro, if you don't know, freaking watch Leeds United, man.
Leeds are sick.
They're so sick to watch.
Dude, they play good.
So sick to watch.
Did you watch the game today?
Wild. No, I just saw the score.
Damn. I didn't watch it either. I didn't even know they were playing it until like the 70th minute. I was like, it's too late to put it on. And it's on Peacock, bro. I hate that thing now. I can't watch any games on Peacock.
Dude, same. Luckily, a group of friends, like one person buys one stream and the other, and so we just exchange passwords. But dude, it's like I'm already paying for cable, and then you're gonna make me pay extra to get this shit. Like,
yeah, it's not.
I got Fubo TV. I highly recommend.
Really?
It's pretty.
How much is that?
It's spendy. It's like $50 a month.
Yeah,
but I get
60.
I get every Champions League game. I get every Premier League game. I can get games in Brazil, Mexican League, MLS.
Dude, I'll send you a link. It's like free streams, bro. Highest quality streams I've ever watched. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're watching on like Sling TV or something. 0 lag. I got you, bro.
You were gonna say something else, bro. I'm sorry.
It's all good, Trevor. We won't get into that. But I'll give you my prediction for tomorrow. I think Madrid's gonna win. I think they're gonna win 2-1. Madrid 2-1.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say Madrid 2-1.
Yeah.
After they lost to a Shakhtar team that didn't even have their starting 11 in.
Yeah, but. Yeah.
Why was Mendy playing right back?
That's another thing too. Like,
injuries?
You got so many. Yeah. Carvajal's hurt. Carvajal's hurt.
What about Nacho Fernandez?
I don't know if he's hurt or not, to be honest.
I'm not sure either.
But even Lucas Vasquez has played right back. Like, why don't you put him there? But I mean, we got. Ramos
what do you
back.
think about Liverpool, real quick?
I think they're screwed.
I said that before the Van Dijk injury, I was like, I predict Liverpool falls off this year.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna now. Yeah. They're gonna be so hard to be consistent, brother. He's a rock. Like, that's literally the previous years
presence.
Yeah, the previous years, like when they lost in the Champions League final, when they lost the league, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they're missing is that hump. The games they would drop points in is like the center back error or a goalie. So they got rid of Karius, brought in Allison, solid. Same with the center back, and they've been sky high ever since. You know what I'm saying? Like, you lose those fundamental players, like you're gonna go back to the way you were. You know, like all they can ride on now is the momentum, but. I don't see it going very far. I feel like they're gonna keep dropping.
I saw
points.
this thing where they were thinking about going to a 3-back, 5-back kind of deal with Fabinho at the center.
I was gonna say if Fabinho continues to play center back, like they might, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's
As a Van Dijk replacement kind of deal, or are you thinking at 3-back, 5-back system?
I would rather have Fabinho being playing center back as opposed to Matip.
Matip, yeah. Yeah,
100%.
I'd rather have Fabinho play with his left foot the whole game than have Matip back.
Blindfolded.
Like, I'm surprised he stayed so long. Even who was the other guy that got sold? Lovren. I fancied him better.
Lovren, yeah.
I felt bad for him. It was a lot of like you see what happened to Varane in the Champions League game, like how he had like a horrendous game, getting knocked off the ball or making a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's how would happen to Lovren. Like he'd be solid.
Often.
Yeah. So he'd be like really solid, then like a few mistakes, and it's just like your whole name is tarnished. You know, you're just viewed by that one error. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Karius in the Champions League final. Everyone will forever remember him.
Dude, that's what you're known as.
Who's he playing for right now? Do you know?
Besiktas, I think.
I think it was. Yeah, it was some.
Dude, they still ask him about that moment. They still
really in interviews.
Poor guy.
I would hate that.
Yeah.
I would hate that.
Do you think you played worse today or back when you lost the Champions League? Because remember when you guys lost and it was all your fault? Yeah, that game. Yeah.
It's like, no, I didn't remember that, but now
myself.
I do.
My goodness.
It's hard not to think about. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the biggest moment.
It haunts him.
Yeah,
there was an interview with John Terry, and he said he still thinks about the Champions League where he slipped, and on this PK with Man United, Chelsea 2008 PK shootout.
Oh, I didn't watch soccer back then.
John Terry slipped on his final PK, and he hit it wide.
Damn, that's why they put it in FIFA.
Win the Champions League.
That's why they put it in FIFA now, because of John Terry. Thanks a lot. When you don't hit the green zone, you hit red, or like you hit it out of the goal and your guy slips and he hits it out.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what happened, dude.
That's the John Terry.
Have you played FIFA 21?
Dude, I don't play FIFA
I just
anymore,
downloaded it. I just downloaded it.
It's fun. It's a little slower. It's harder to defend.
It's slower. It's definitely slower. Yeah.
Dude, every year it gets harder to defend.
Mm-hmm. You know what's impossible now is free kicks. Oh my gosh. You have to
I haven't tried it yet.
You have to aim where you're going with one joystick. Then you have to hit the certain amount, and then you have to control the bend with the other joystick.
You need 3 hands.
Yeah, right.
Dude, remember FIFA 12 where you just like aim it at the goal and hold it down a certain amount, and it was an automatic goal.
every time, dude.
FIFA 13, bro. That's my favorite game of all time.
That was a free kick legend back then, bro.
Dude, those games are fun. I don't know why I stopped playing, man. I think it's just I don't play with anyone.
Well, yeah, that was the thing too. Back at Cal State, we would
always play.
We'd talk hella shit. Yeah.
All right, my boy.
I wasn't that good.
We're gonna end it here. All right, Trev.
Yes, sir. Great session. It was great. Gabe, great meeting you. Izzy, good to catch up, man.
Nice meeting you, man.
Absolutely, man. If anybody has questions on how to get to that college level, you know, I've had people reach out to me. I would use you as a resource. You know, I could refer them to you because you're a lot more knowledgeable and you kind of went through the same grind I did. You know, like we'll go ahead and drop your tag right now for Instagram, and
100%.
Would you be down for
that? Tag Bourbon Boys and Footy too, if you can.
Absolutely, man. We'll drop the link for that. Yep. We'll check it out next Tuesday. Every chance we get, we'll give you guys a shout out. You know, like we're down for it. Such a great idea, and it's something that we're interested in. You know, that's something we were talking about on the way here, because we love soccer. You know, and I'm sure it's a good time. You know what I'm saying? Just chilling, hanging out with your boys.
I love to drink and I love to talk soccer, so I can't think of anything better else I could do. So that's great, man. But actually, it was big shout out to you guys too in your podcast, man. I wouldn't say it was like the main reason, but it was a good contributing reason on why I wanted to do it. Like, you guys, the show is great. I think you're killing it. I think you're going in the right directions too. You're interviewing a lot of good guests to keep things very interesting on this show, and so big fan.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. All right, well, go ahead and end it on that, Trev. Thank you so much.
Yep. Stay safe, you guys.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right, later, everyone.
Later, man.
Cheers.